Hi guys. This is my 24 week update. I'm 24 weeks today. Uh, and kind of got a lot of things to talk about again. I don't know if I'll ever get a short video in here. Um, so I wanted to tell you something that happened this last week, and then I was going to show you some baby things, so I'll try to make it quick. Okay, so first I'll tell you some new symptoms that I've had. I started having swelling in my feet now, and actually it's only in my right foot, in my right ankle, and I hate it because it's so reminiscent of my first pregnancy. I had really bad swelling with that one, and sorry about my voice, by the way. I have a sinus infection, so I probably sound like I'm in a tunnel. Anyway, yeah, so I have swelling on my right ankle, and I try to keep off of it, and even when I do, it doesn't seem to matter. So this baby is obviously sitting some kind of funky way, preventing circulation, so that's great. And, oh, also, yeah, okay, that was the only symptom. And aside, that was the only new symptom, I should say. Okay, so what happened this last week was, so Monday I uploaded my last video, and then Tuesday, and I mentioned in my video that about the contractions and just keeping an eye on them and whatever. Well, Tuesday, they ended up being all day long and just got to the point where I was just exhausted, and they were strong and they weren't consistent in time, but they were, like I said, they happened all day long, and I just got really concerned that some cervical change might be happening since they'd been happening for the whole day. And I called my doctor about, I'd say it was about 2:30. No, about 2:30 when I called them. And they told me to take some Tylenol, take a hot bath, and in 45 minutes they'd call me and see how I felt. And they called back and they asked how I was doing, and I told them I felt exactly the same. So, yeah, and they decided that, and they just called the on-call doctor, and he decided to have me come into labor and delivery so they could monitor, just make sure, and check my cervix, make sure nothing was happening with that. So, had my sister take me because my husband had just left for work, and I had the two girls with me. So we dropped them off at their grandma's, and she took me over there, and we got there about, I think it was about 3:30. They hooked me up to the monitors, and listened to the baby, tried to monitor contractions, and of course they slowed down in intensity the moment I got there, which I knew was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. It's the story of my life. So I get there, they hook me up, and they watched me for 3 hours, and they checked my cervix, they did the fetal fibronectin, and the fetal fibronectin came back negative, meaning that I was not in preterm labor, and my cervix was closed, and it was still long, meaning I wasn't thinning out or anything, but it was soft. So, yeah, that's not like super concerning, but that is happening. So, yeah, then they watched me for another hour after they checked me and asked if and they decided not to give me any medication to stop the contractions that were happening because the medication that they give me will work. It's just that if I happen to start having contractions that do change my cervix and I have to go back in and they have to give me medication, then they want to make sure that the medication is going to work as effectively that time, because the more you give it, the less effective it is. So they wanted to wait just in case I happen to come back. So they decided not to give me anything. They wanted to give me Loratab, but it makes me super sick, and so I just decided not to do that. And then they checked my cervix, like I said, again, and it was still the same. Thank goodness. That's my biggest concern. I was so glad. That was my only worry. I could have dealt with the contractions. It was just that worry about my cervix. So the cervix was good, and they decided to, they asked if I wanted to stay, if I felt good going home or whatever, and I said more than likely they'd start up again as soon as I got home, and then I had a really great nurse. She was so nice and really understanding, and she said it was up to me, but I told her, I says, well, I'll be doing the same thing if I go home as I am here, just laying down. So I decided to go home. I got home about 8:30, and because the hospital's about 20 to 30 minutes away, so got home, and literally an hour after I got home, they started again. I kid you not. And so, and my husband was working the night shift, so he wasn't home to help me. So anyway, I got the girls to bed, laid down, and that next morning, I had really, really bad, I mean, the kind of bad, okay, I had really bad rectal and vaginal pressure, and it's the kind of pressure like when if you haven't had a baby yet, and if you have, you'll understand this, when your baby is starting to drop, it's not to the point where you're pushing, but when your baby's starting to drop and you can just, when you're in labor, and when you feel the baby getting lower and lower, it was that kind of pressure, and I had this belt of pain just wrapped around my abdomen and into my back. And I did not know what was going on, but I decided to just sit down, see if it went away, and it lasted for probably over an hour. And I decided to go lay down. I was able to fall asleep after a while. When I woke up, I felt like garbage. Oh, I felt so crappy. And then it happened again. The pressure happened again later that night, and the hospital wanted me to make an appointment with my doctor that week so that I could get in to see him from being in labor and delivery, and I called him that day that all the pressure was happening to make the appointment, and I was scheduled to go in the next day, which was Wednesday. So I went in Wednesday, and he checked my cervix just to make sure it hadn't changed again, and it was still good. I'm so relieved. That was my only worry. And then he prescribed me some, I forgot to look at the name of it again, prescribed me some medication to stop contractions in case they got worse than what they are. And because these ones apparently aren't changing my cervix. So he gave me that, and it's also a blood pressure medication, so it can drop your blood pressure, but he just wanted me to take it if I started to get them, not just as a preventative. He just wanted me to take them if I did get contractions. So I haven't had to take any so far, because they've been the same as far as pain goes. So I haven't had to take any, and that was Wednesday, and today is Saturday. So yeah, so far haven't had to do that. Still just really just dealing with the contractions that are happening. So yeah, anyway, so that was a pretty eventful week. Okay, so I'm gonna hurry because I'm probably taking longer than I want. So remember I mentioned in my first one that I didn't know how much weight I'd gained. Well, I figured it out, and it's kind of like, I don't know, like a he said, she said kind of thing. So when I went into my very first appointment, which I was 9 weeks, I weighed 134. And then when I went in for my next appointment, I weighed 143. So that was 9 pounds I gained. And then when I went in just Wednesday, they weighed me again, and I went from 143 to 151. That was 8 pounds in less than 2 weeks. I was like, what? Anyway, yeah, it was pretty disturbing. So that's like a total of, what, 17 pounds? So, I don't know, I just feel like I'm gaining a lot of weight already. I don't know. I don't like it. So, but according to me, when I weighed myself right before I got pregnant, I mean like just days before I found out I was pregnant, I was at my high school weight, which was 125. And So technically, if you add that up, from when I went into my first appointment, which was, I was at 9 weeks, so I did gain some weight between then. And so I would technically be like 20 pounds of weight gain so far if I go from what I weighed at home. So I'm just going to go with the doctor says since it's less, but it still feels like a lot to me. Okay, so enough with that. I want to show you guys some baby stuff. I want to show you ultrasound pictures because I promised you I would. Okay, so this one, and I hope you can tell on here, this one was at 9 weeks. Here's the, let's see, here's the head, and his arms are like, kind of like folded. Here's the belly, and then here's the feet, right here. And this, of course, they don't have much of a length on their arms and legs, so it's just short. So that's 9 weeks. This is the appointment where we found out what we were having. And like I said, I didn't get any 3D pictures, which I'm so bummed about. But this is at 17 weeks and 4 days. This is the face. Let me turn it this way. You can see the eyes. Looks like a skeleton. And then this is the boy picture. It's going to be really hard to tell because she did not get both legs very well. Let's see if I can get this for you. Okay. I hope you can see it. Okay, so let's see. Here is a leg here. Here's a leg here. And then where the little arrows are pointing is boy parts. I hope you can see that. Anyway, it's a boy. It's hard. Like I said, they were mediocre pictures, so they're really hard to tell unless you know what you're looking at. Okay, so baby stuff. This little sleeper, fleece sleepers, they're 18 month. They have little penguins on them. You can see. And they were $1.75 at Walmart, so why would I pass that up? I wouldn't. Okay, and this is a little fleece receiving blanket. Navy on one side, navy and brown on the other, which I love. Love, love, love. So soft. And some crib sheets. Have little cars on them. And they are flannel. So little crib sheets. Little ankle socks. Little ankle socks. Okay, and these are my absolute favorite, I have to say. I ordered these online. And I hope you can see. And they have tape on them because they were all funky, so I taped them so they wouldn't be all shaped weird. These little tiny shoes, are they not so cute? They have a little guitar on them, if you can tell. Oh, I think they are so cute. I can't wait to use them. Okay, so that's... I do have more baby stuff, but I'll save that for another video. So yeah, that's it. And also, just another thing is... Right now, we are like crazy busy at my house because we're trying to build onto, build a wall to make a room for us to go in so that baby can have our room. So we're in the middle of some construction right now. So, okay, I hope that I covered everything. Until next time, I will see you guys then. Here's the belly. 24 weeks. I think it's bigger.